Alright, what up people? Now, I'm gonna have a series of videos coming out over the next few days about everything I've learned. I'm in New York still, alright? You see me in the hotel. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Vlogs and all that are coming later, right? But right now, I wanna sit down and talk about everything I've learned. Bruh, I might have talked to LD for at least 6 hours in the last 2 days. I got a good chance to talk with Mike Wang. I talked to Scott Gallagher. Literally the only person I didn't get a chance to really sit down and talk to was Ronnie 2K. But it's all good. I feel like I got a lot of information. So I'm gonna get into this video, man. I put out some tweets. People were responding with a bunch of questions, and I'm like, I never thought about some of that. So I went up to the rooftop and asked even more questions, and I got some answers. Let's get into this. The first thing is about the badges. People asking, yo, is there any new badges? Now, this is a paraphrased quote. Mike Wang said, I'm not sure, I don't think there is, really, maybe. So I'm pretty sure there's not. I know there was some rename, like Dreamlike Up and Under was renamed Up and Under Specialist. So there was some that was renamed, some of them were redesigned, but there was no new badges I seen, and Mike Wang said he's pretty sure there's no new badge. Man, shout out to Twitter because somebody responded to me, was like, yo, Agent, bro, is the jump shot creator unlockable this year? And I'm like, that's a really good question. So I went up, asked LD, he's like, ask Mike Wang. I went, asked Mike Wang. Mike Wang said, yes, it is, but you can unlock it online. And if I'm not mistaken, someone told me this, it was one of the Road to 99 unlocks. So if you guys are aware of how the rep system works this year, you have a player and you're trying to improve your player, grind your player all the way up to a 99 overall. And every step you take, 84, 85, 86, you keep getting things that you unlock. The unlocks 90 plus, 90 to 99, those are real unlocks. Like 98, you get to be featured on a 2K TV episode. 99, you get something called the Legends badge, and it buffs all the badges you currently have. So those are serious things, right? And it's gonna be challenging to get because imagine everybody being on 2K TV. So they purposely are gonna make it very challenging to hit those. But I'm saying Jump Shot Creator is just one of those. The good thing about that though, is just like previous 2Ks, you could upgrade your player with buying VC or grinding VC all the way to an 86. So if you want to just buy VC, I heard you can go straight to 86, right? That's exactly what I'm about to do because I'm trying to make the most lit content possible. Listen, I'm gonna be the jump shot plug, alright? And I'm gonna get into all this archetype talk here in a second, man. But I just need y'all to know that just like last year when I came out with the waviest jump shots, I'm coming out with the waviest jump shots this year. This is a huge one. Shout out to Twitter. Also asked this question. The Grand Badge is no longer in the game. And the very funny part about this was LD told me he saw my 95-point game that I dropped early in 2K17. And y'all were telling me in the comments like, Agent, what has he done? They're gonna patch it now because Agent dropped this crazy ass game. I was like, man, relax. Y'all can patch a whole archetype based on what one person on YouTube does. And they didn't really do it like that, but LD's like, they saw that video and they're like, okay, yeah, it's overpowered. And it was overpowered. I said in the video it's overpowered. I even said in that video, you better patch me or I'm gonna continue doing this. And thank God, I feel like it was such an arcadey thing. I was surprised they even patched that into online. I'm glad it's finally out the game. LD also said there's gonna be very few patches. So remember last year, a small thing would happen. They would throw a 7 GB patch at us. They wouldn't tell us what was on it. And so we were just confused, like how many patches we're gonna download until like the servers are fixed or the stuff we're asking for is gonna be fixed. He said this year, because 2K17 gameplay started really solid and then turned into what the fuck we have now. I'm paraphrasing, he didn't exactly say it like that. But he said 2K18, they're gonna make it a point to only really patch when there's a serious exploit necessary, or they're just trying to make improvements. So they're not gonna be patching like every other week. Like we might have seen a career high, what was it, like 13 patches in 2K17. Here's probably the most exciting information for me. Going into the event, I didn't see this coming. The primary and secondary archetypes, that shit was crazy to me, alright? So take this in though, because the more I talk to the devs, the more I realize like, yo, I might want to make a pure sharpshooter this year. Because if you guys remember when people came back from the event last year, they didn't get as, you know, you don't get to play the game for only so long, right? So when they came back, I remember a few people saying that you can't really dribble with sharpshooters. What happened? Because there's 6'2" speed boosts in sharpshooters now. So you don't want to really, if someone says you can't dribble with other players, relax. We just haven't figured out how to do it yet. But the more I spoke to the devs, they were saying like, you can go for a primary sharpshooter, secondary shot creator, or whatever blend you want to go with, but you're not going to have the absolute max. You could be really good at 2 things, or you can be the best at 1 thing. And depending on the slider, there's going to be a lot of testing going on. This is going to be really interesting. People are going to be making a lot of new different builds, and now because it's primary and secondary, it's adding a whole new dynamic. You could always try something new. It's going to be lit. And so at first I was thinking I was going to go with playmaking primary, sharpshooting secondary, but after playing the game more, I was playing with with my player on the park. I was playing with a primary sharpshooter and a secondary shot creator, and I was like, on good releases, first of all, it's a lot harder to hit greens. That's a very big fact. but I was missing on like straight up full shot meter. It looked like a good release, and my primary sharpshooter, it was 84 overall, but it was, I'm like, really? So anyway, it's gonna cost some testing. So I'm just saying, like, I know everybody's excited to have 2 different archetypes, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for you to consider doing the same archetype and being a pure player. In terms of the gameplay, it feels so damn smooth. It feels great. A lot of the dribbles you feel are the same. Like, I was doing the same little stick things when it came to NBA 2K17 that I did when I was playing NBA 2K18. And I mean, I didn't learn anything new when it came to dribbling. For the most part, I didn't want to be a selfish teammate. I was on the park, there was other people playing, so I was trying to get my shots up. I was trying to shoot from agent range, and I don't know if my player had limitless range, but I wasn't really hitting nothing from agent range at the time, which brings me to my next point is Hall of Fame badges. If you were a pure player, a pure sharpshooter, you can have all the sharpshooter Hall of Fame badges. If you're a sharpshooter primary and like a lockdown secondary, you might only have 1 to 3, if not 0, depending on the blend you choose, Hall of Fame badges. Now, Annoying said this in his video, shout out to him, I'm looking below, but Mycareer verified this on his Twitter. And Mycareer is the plug of all plugs, bro. I don't know how he gets all these codes. He's doing something, all right? So I trust Mycareer with the info. He was saying you get 1 to 3, if not 0, Hall of Fame badges if you make a certain type of blend. So it really depends on what you do. For example, a sharpshooter and a shot creator are fairly similar. I see that having a little bit more. But a sharpshooter and a lockdown, maybe not as much. I also think it's interesting because the way the badge system is set up, there's key badges and then there's secondary badges. And unless I'm missing something, you can't get any badges outside of those. So I don't know how much it was exactly, and not including personality badges, but it might have been like 15 or so. So it's not as, you can't get every badge in the game anymore. So you're more limited in that sense. So it's kind of interesting. We don't know enough about that because we weren't able to, like, I know Annoying was on some shit because Annoying made an entirely new player. I didn't even think of doing that. Annoying created a player. I was like, man, I like that you did that, man. That's smart thinking right there. The shot meter, the shot meter, the shot meter. Now, y'all heard a lot about it, especially since the last event that happened a few weeks ago. It's on the side of your player. You can change the colors, but turn that shit off, man. I tried shooting, looking at the shot meter. I was shooting up bricks. The second I just started to look at my player and releasing when he was at his peak, when it looked like he was in a shot pocket, is when I started to hit my shots. So last year in 2K17, I had the shot meter still there, but I rarely ever used it. It was more of a point of reference when I had an off game. I could be like, okay, let me get back to this. But next year, and it's very small, the shot meter, so even like, it might look all full white or full whatever color you make it, but there's gonna be times where it's full and you miss. It's because it's so small you can't really see the margin of error. If you made it longer, you'd really be able to tell a little bit more how accurate your shot was. So not only is it more inaccurate than it was last year, it's in a better spot. It's not underneath your player, it's on the side of your player. I like that, but for me, it's just not gonna be too useful unless I'm using a very new jump shot, a couple shots with the shot meter, and then turn it off. I know what I'm doing. Now, I heard this one from Mike Wang's stream. He was talking about how it's gonna be more challenging. Attributes matter this year to make shots if you're a player with a poor rating. And so if you have a 60 open shot 3, the number I heard was you're making 25% of your wide open shots, which makes sense. It didn't make sense. Glass cleaners were pulling from limitless in the past, and so finally attributes matter. They said this is a more input based game, not as much as an animation based game, which is dope. Increases the skills gap for me. It makes it so that the archetypes really matter, and now that there's primary and secondary archetypes, you at least get a little bit of depth if that's what you choose to do. I'm not sure exactly where I heard this one from, but I heard it a bunch of times yesterday, is you can buy VC to get to 86 overall. So if you want to skip your way up there, in fact, I don't know exactly where the jump shot creator lands on the list of road to 99, but if it's under 86, and you're buying VC, you basically start with it. I know a bunch of people were asking me about Pro-Am. I asked about it, I didn't hear much back, alright? So we don't know enough about Pro-Am now. I did have a clip where me, Annoying was jumping into the Pro-Am, but for the most part, the practice arena looked identical to the way it did in 2K17. If you see the trailers, the game, and even the scoreboard, the arena also looks identical. So I don't know if there's gonna be differences that we know of, but from so far, there's no news for Pro-Am. Another important note is, I know Annoying talked about this in his video, Mycareer also tweeted this, is if you play different game modes, it actually helps you rep up faster. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm sure they're just trying to get your foot in everything. And to be honest, I think this is a Pro-Am push because there's a lot of players that play Park that don't mess with Pro-Am. I think it's people like, yo, if you try Pro-Am, I'm telling you, you're gonna rep up faster. And so if you just do Park, you're not gonna be moving as fast. I asked about the Mycourt because we didn't really hear anything about that at the event, and I didn't hear much back. All I knew was that, for those of you who don't know, it's like you're in your building, you get on your building to an elevator and you go downstairs, and then you're in this playground where you can play 1-on-1 now, you can play 3-on-3, you know, you can play on the 5s, they have the parks, you can walk into a tattoo shop, right? So you guys seen the trailer, you seen all that goodness, you know how it works. Just like that, when you hop into your elevator, you go up into your Mycourt. That's what I heard. Now, as soon as I heard up, I'm like, bruh, do we have a high-rise rooftop Mycourt? Because that would be phenomenal, right? And then I heard, oh no, they didn't want to disclose anything just yet. But from what I hear, you go into your elevator to get into the Mycourt, so I'm assuming it's somewhere in the same building, which, by the way, if there's a basketball court in the middle of the building, that'd be some lit shit, right? I'm trying to live in a building that has something like that. I keep seeing people talk about rep this, rep that, rep, where's rep, agent, where's that? I'm like, I don't know, guys. All I know is there's road to 99. I didn't see anything about rep. Mypark felt solid, and y'all know I had to talk about this shit, right? Latency, there's the key word. Listen, man, the latency was better than 2K17, but that doesn't mean anything, right? So there was a couple times, one when I was playing with Cash lagged out. He had the most hilarious reaction. And then again with somebody else, is I saw lag outs happen, but this is before launch. I don't know what that means for the servers exactly. We know at launch, pretty much every game, but especially 2K, is gonna have some issues at launch. I just hope that a week into launch is clear. You know what I mean? So we're not having problems where the menus are super unresponsive. But that's the one part that I'm worried about. And I talked to LD about this, and he said they quote unquote buffed the servers. I don't know what that means, and they say something like that every year. So I was like, okay, but like I don't know how do you gauge that exactly? So I think that's probably gonna be my biggest worry. I don't know is the thing, and you know, historically, they've been awful, especially 2K17. That shit was a career high. So, yo, even if we can get back to 2K16, I could deal with that. But really, realistically, what I'm trying to do is just get it to the point where you're seeing reasonable input lag that you would expect in the game, right? But in general, Mypark felt smoother. I don't know exactly how to, you guys are gonna have to feel the game, because when people were explaining it to me that played it before me, I was like, oh, could you be a little bit more descriptive? There's no real way to describe it. You're gonna hop on the sticks and find out for yourself, but it feels better, way better than 2K17 in my opinion. And here's a small one that I noticed, and I was like, thank God, you can actually sprint on the Mypark now. So it's a pretty big place. I was thinking to myself, I think I said this to Mike Wang, I was like, I'm gonna need a skateboard because I'm not gonna be walking around really slow like this. I clicked R2 and I'm like, oh, you can sprint on the park now. So it's a faster way to get around. If you're not aware, a bicycle is one of the rewards on the road to 99, and the skateboard is as well. So if you get tired of running and you get to the point where you unlock a bicycle or a skateboard, then there you go. Another one of the issues I had, and I was talking to Shakedown about this, is I don't know, like, it's a really dope environment, but yo, can we like switch it up? And Shakedown mentioned, yo, can we throw it at nighttime or do something to switch it up every once in a while, because it's gonna be dope now, it's gonna be dope through December, but eventually it's gonna get stale and people are gonna want to play in a new environment. And previously we had multiple parks to go to, and I'm thinking like, yo, maybe we can see some changes, maybe something like Park After Dark, but hopefully more successful ends up happening, or they drop some other parks or something happens. They said there's gonna be a rotation of park events as well, so Antioch is back in the game. Antioch has a whole new environment, so there's a lot of new stuff that happened, but I just hope it doesn't get stale. And probably another note, and this is gonna be important for a lot of people, is because there's no rep system across the board, it's a road to 99. So if you're upgrading your sharpshooter, but you switch to play with your shot creator, you're gonna be like a level 1. You can be back to square, you know what I mean? So you're gonna be a 55 overall, working your way back up. And so previously you'd still be a legend or a superstar 2 or an all-star 1, and now it's like you're really from square one. So when you're making a new archetype, especially if you want to take it on the park and grind with it, you got to take it seriously. I think that's one of the negatives when it comes to having a rep system that works specific to characters, is each character is gonna be so difficult to get it up there, especially if the way I have it in my head, it's gonna be super challenging to hit 99. And to be able to have to even consider doing that, or even hit like 92 on multiple players, it's gonna seem like a serious grind. Anyway, I've been talking forever, man. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like. If y'all new, subscribe to the channel. Y'all know I'm coming with the fire, right? I'm prepared for this. Listen, thank you to 2K, man. They came all the way clutch. Y'all about to see it all in the vlogs, bro. The vlogs is some funny shit, man. It was really cool hanging out with all those YouTubers. Most of them are gone now, but I'm gonna be in New York for the next few days. I'm gonna be chilling, shooting some videos. YouTube channel's gonna, I'm so damn excited, man, for the next few months of this channel, bro. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm bobbing my head around too much. I'm gonna lay down, actually, before I'm out. Peace.